The conclusion of Adventure 1 does not hit the same strides as the conclusion of Adventure 2. That is just fact. Adventure 2 is infinitely more deeper, there's a greater connection with the character at play, there's just elements of Adventure 2 that Adventure 1 can't quite compete with. Which is a good thing because every sequel should be like that. However, where Adventure 1 does shine a little brighter than Adventure 2 is the big villain of the conclusion. In Adventure 2 you have Gerald and more importantly the Bio-Lizard, which the reason for the Bio-Lizard's substance and importance relies on the existence of Shadow. So as an individual, Bio-Lizard isn't necessarily a great villain, but because of his ties to Shadow, that makes him feel a lot more fleshed out and infinitely more impactful. Chaos has a mind, it has a body, it has the capacity to make its own choices and feel emotions. Chaos betrays Eggman in the final act of Adventure 1, and that speaks a lot about the individuality that Chaos has. So this video will serve as a sort of appreciation for Chaos, rather than a full-blown analysis of Adventure 1's final story, because I don't think it hits the same beats as Adventure 2, so for me personally, I don't think it's really as investing to analyze the entirety of Adventure 1's finale the way I would with Adventure 2. But Chaos, either way, steals the show, so I think it should be a love letter directed to him. You know what I mean. This story allows us to study Chaos's motivations, and through Tikal, we can learn as such. Pachacamac, I probably mispronounced his name, declares an attack on the altar of the Master Emerald, and this event takes place about 3,000 years ago in the Sonic timeline. So, of course, this is during the existence of the Echidna tribe. The reason why Pachacamac wants access to the Emerald is so he can use its power to warmonger even more than ever before. And when Tikal tries to stop him, he orders his men to charge right through her and ends up hurting her in the process. So when they assault the altar, Chaos gets put in an absolute rage and nearly destroys the entire world, taking out majority of the Echidna tribe, no problem. Of course, Tikal, as a last-ditch effort, uses her soul and the power of the Master Emerald to trap both of them within, so Chaos cannot cause any more havoc. Chaos's rage comes from a place of guardianship to ensure the Master Emerald is protected and not used for greedy assholes such as Pachacamac. However, this guardianship is what causes him to go off the rails and why Tikal has to betray his trust and trap him within the Emerald. That leads us to the present events of the story of Adventure 1, where Eggman sets Chaos free, and that's why the Master Emerald was shattered, and eventually they go on to collect every Chaos Emerald until Chaos betrays Eggman and is able to gather the 7th one all on his own. A lot of people argue that Show Don't Tell is the optimal approach when it comes to storytelling, but I like that Adventure 1 balances both. Through Tikal's backstory, we're able to put a lot of pieces together and figure out where Chaos started from and how things got so bad in the first place. And in the present, we're able to see it all come to fruition. So both approaches work together and create a really cohesive and interesting story. All this information leads to probably one of the most underrated cutscenes in any Sonic game ever. While the CGI isn't great, it's probably one of my personal favorites because it just goes to show how true to her word Tikal was when she says that Chaos is capable of destroying the world. cutscene's sort of ominous where everyone is living a perfectly normal life. Now, if you have a keen eye, you would have been aware that the intro to Adventure 1 very much foreshadows this cutscene. But you're seeing everything take place in a normal, mundane life, and then the juxtaposition between absolutely no disaster and complete, utter chaos, haha, get it? It's brilliantly terrifying. That's a great way to put it. This cutscene is deceptive, to say the least. Allow me to walk you through it a little bit. Of course, it's partially overcast outside, but the day is still nice. It's bright outside, it's expressive, there's cars driving by, people are living their lives. We're able to see a lot of people on the sidewalks, there's even some kids involved too. And in a matter of seconds, everybody who you just saw on the street, no matter how much Sonic X tries to tell you it isn't so, everybody is dead. All's well that ends well, my fat ass. That is one of the worst lines that was ever written into this game. I can't get over that. The sheer scale of Chaos's wrath makes this scene, and by proxy the end of Adventure 1's story, incredibly memorable. Even if I think the storytelling itself is not as good as Adventure 2's, the substance, the spectacle, definitely there. The sheer power of Chaos is hard to rival. I know the end from Frontiers could likely do it, and I know Dark Gaia is more powerful than Chaos. You can make an argument for the Final Hazard, but that's just a byproduct of the already accelerating arc, so that's here nor there. But the point is, this is a very powerful and enraged creature. Two adjectives you do not want in the same sentence. A lot of people express a little bit of negativity towards the fact that you only hear Open Your Heart for the first half of Chaos's fight, but I actually have a really important counterpoint for this that is unfortunately very true the more you think about it. Sonic didn't earn his big anthem. He didn't earn his Open Your Heart, or your Live and Learn, or your What I'm Made Of. So many lives were lost. I saw a post on Reddit that talked about how Sonic canonically failed in this game. I would not go as far as to say that he failed, but he definitely didn't act fast enough in ensuring Chaos was stopped and put to rest for good. This situation doesn't call for a song where everybody overcomes their fear and they ensure this triumphant victory. Sonic is just salvaging what's left. Chaos has already won most of the fight. It's a devastating truth, and it completely rewrites the entire fight knowing that this is the mood that's really taking place, the more you analyze it. That's not to say I don't love Open Your Heart by any means. I absolutely do. Honestly, between Live and Learn and Open Your Heart, I might be leaning towards Open Your Heart, but who knows. The point is, I do love the song, but the absence of it in the second phase of the Chaos fight is fitting, in a sense. Whereas Open Your Heart, while an amazing song that complements the idea and spectacle that Supersonic represents, in the face of the mood and the tone of the fight itself, it feels more fitting not to have it playing. Due to the Spotify feature on Xbox One, I was able to play the final boss without any music going, and that oddly felt right, given the mood. The capacity for sheer devastation that Chaos leaves behind is what makes this fight so memorable. Everybody loves Open Your Heart and the type of vibes it brings to the stage, but in its own light, Perfect Chaos as a character is what steals the spotlight for me. Now, if you are into the more badass Supersonic, then by all means, crank Open Your Heart to 150% if you desire. Honestly, that is an immense and amazing feeling from a Supersonic boss fight. But this video isn't about Supersonic. It's about Perfect Chaos, and in every way possible, Perfect Chaos is a great villain. It astounded me that when Chaos returned to a mainline game, that being the case for Sonic Forces, Pontac and Graf disrespected the hell out of this character. Completely shafted Chaos. There was no boss fight. There was just a cutscene where he grabbed Sonic's arms, and it was just such a disappointing performance from him. Because Chaos, again, right in front of your very eyes, is this colossal behemoth capable of the world's destruction. And they just wipe their own ass with it. Why? I digress about that. What does take place here is that with the help of the Chaos Emeralds, Sonic is able to neutralize Chaos and get that rage out of him. Even his own family recognizes that Chaos is not this scary monster, or at least isn't anymore. They see beyond the beast that he became and offer him their forgiveness. And with the help of Tikal, Chaos and the rest of them are able to pass away peacefully. It's a bittersweet sentiment that's undermined by absolute devastation of the city around them, but all's well that ends well, right? In essence, Chaos as the final villain did make for a very interesting experience. What's even more impressive is that this is a creature who can't vocalize emotions. This is all actions. And the fact that we are able to learn so much about this creature speaks volumes. The next mainline Sonic game that's an original game, mind you, allegedly from what I've heard is supposed to be Sonic Frontiers 2 in 2027. I don't know if that's true or anything of that sort, so if somebody could confirm that in the comments, please do. But in this next Sonic game, I want a villain with depth. I want a villain like Chaos or Gerald Robotnik that genuinely has a reason for their actions other than just being evil for the sake of it. Dark Gaia, I'll give the pass because that game's theme was supposed to be the balance between light and dark, so Dark Gaia's inclusion felt like an important aspect of that theme. So with all that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my love letter to Perfect Chaos. Thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care for now, and goodbye.